All right, today we are peeling off our 70% and we're getting rid of our decimal point, so it's no longer a percent, a fraction, or a decimal. It is just the number 70, and that's how many days we have left of school. 70 days left of school, can you believe that? So let's have some fun with it and make up a problem. Let's suppose we say that what percent of the school year do we have left? What percent of the school year do we have left? I'm just abbreviating so I don't forget. Okay, so what we're going to do is whenever we see the word percent here, or the symbol for percent, we know we're dealing with a fraction. Now, we know what the whole school year is, and we know the whole school year is 180 days. And we know that we have 70 days left, so that would be our numerator. So it would be 70 out of 180. Now, you know from prior calendar maths that you know this is a same thing as a percent and a decimal. It's just written as a fraction. And this line represents divide, just like this line represents divide. And these two dots are in lieu of numbers. And the way we read it is from top to bottom, 70 divided by 180. And that's how we will convert this fraction. That's how you convert all fractions into decimals. So we ask ourselves, how many times does 180 go into 70? Well, we know we can't. But remember, it's a percent. We're finding to the hundredths place value. So we have to cut 70 up into 100 pieces. Well, how do we cut a number up into 100 pieces? Well, we put our decimal point, which symbolizes the difference between whole numbers to the left and part numbers to the right. Now I cut it up into 10 equal pieces, and now 100 equal pieces. Now I want to make sure I bring my decimal point straight up, so I continue my place values in my answer. So now I'm going to go ahead and divide. How many times does 180 go into 70? None. How many times does 180 go into 70? None. And now we have how many times does 180 go into 700? Well, I hope you remembered my trick. We front end estimate, and to me, this is closest to 200. How many times does 200 go into 700? Well, I know it's probably a little bit more than 6, because 2 times, or it would be 3, because 2 times 3 is 6. So let's take a guess here. I'm going to erase this, and let's, on our side piece of paper, so we don't mess up here, let's take 180 times 2. Or no, I said 3. Times 3. 0, 24, 3, 4, 5. So that's 540. Well, let's see. Let's see if my answer down here after I subtract is higher than 180. Well, I know it's 4. So 540 subtract 6, and that's 1. 160. Okay, so 3 was the correct number. And now, how many times does 180 go into 160? None. That's why I need to bring down the next place value. So now how many times does 180 go into 1,600? Well, let's do our estimation game here. I know this is close to 200, approximately, or almost 200. And I know 1,600. I'm just going to keep it that way since we have hundreds here. So I'm going to look at my 1,600. And now I know I can cancel out the hundreds here and the hundreds here. And now I can just ask myself, how many times does 2 go into 6? Or what times 2 gives me 16? And that would be 8. 2 times 8. So my guess is going to be 180, or not my guess, I should say my estimation, 180 times 8. 0, 64, 48. Well, that doesn't work. What did I do wrong? 0, 64. Oh, I know what I did wrong. See, that's why it's good to do on a scratch piece of paper or on a separate piece, because if I would have done that here, well, then I would have this all messed up and I could get confused. So let's try this again. 8 times 0 is 0. 8 times 8 is 64. 8 times 1 is 8. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. That's more like it. And so now I know that 1,600 minus 1,440 is the correct. We're not going to go into to get remainders or anything, just for the, we're just going to go to the hundred, so I know it's 8. So what we can say now with certainty is, what percent of the school year do we have left? It would be 38%, because in order to convert a decimal into a percent, you just move the decimal point over 2 spaces. So it's 38%. Now it's important that you know why that, and not just the algorithm of moving it over. It's because 38 with the decimal here is written, or sounds 38 hundredths. And the minute I say hundredths, that tells me that this 38 is into 100 equal pieces. Well, if I just put a percent here, then that would be that it would be 38 hundredths of 1%. And so you got to make sure you move the decimal point over, because we want the percent to say the same thing that the decimal does. And the decimal says it's 38 out of 100 by saying 38 hundredths, and percent means out of 100, because per means out of and cent means 100. Okay.